My name is Dr. Christy Morgan, and I am the Arizona Director for Candle Wishes in Phoenix, Arizona.
My name is Jenny Williams. I'm the founder and executive director of the Candle Wishes Foundation. I just really felt this burden come over me for these kids.
Children mean a lot. You never want a child to grow up feeling like they're not loved.
God put this on my heart to want to give these children happy birthdays.
This foundation just touched my heart, so I knew that this was something that I needed to do.
Okay, y'all, I'm not gonna ugly cry. This is terrible.
There was a time in our life where we struggled. There was a time in our life where we lived paycheck to paycheck. One time when we first moved down to Phoenix, a friend of ours, even at Christmas time, paid for my son to have a picture. Paid to have a picture of our son sitting on Santa's lap, and I couldn't afford it because we had just moved across the country. And so that's always stuck with me. If you would love to sponsor a child, if you would like to throw a birthday party, if you would like to just volunteer,
we need your help. Reach out to us so that we can connect and make our community a better place.
Good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I am Ken Walls and I'm your host. I want to plug Dr. Christy Morgan's foundation there, Candle Wishes for Children. It's so children can have a birthday party that are underprivileged. So go look them up and support that. So without any more about all that, I want to welcome my good friend Aggi Hall to the show. Aggi, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
I'm glad that you're here. So
Thank you.
So listen, we've been friends now for what? Maybe 3 years, or I don't know. It's been a few years, I think.
A few years, yeah.
So, and I'm friends with your husband, Jesse, who's Jesse the realtor.
Yes, he's still around. He's right now showing some homes and 10xing.
Yeah, right. So, this show is all about helping people have a breakthrough that get stuck in life, and we all get stuck from time to time, in a variety of different ways. And I think that people learn and grow from hearing other people's stories about. Do you have a bird or something nearby?
Yeah, one sec. It's my dog. She gets jealous when I don't hold her. Okay.
Oh, you have her now?
Home. And when I'm home, she's just very clingy. All right, now we're back on.
We have dogs too. One of our dogs is sits at my wife's feet literally all day whining. It's insane.
Yes.
So with this show, I want to kind of start with, sharing with people where you were born and raised, because you're in Florida now, right?
I am, and I'm not moving anytime soon.
Okay, well, why don't we start with telling everybody where you were born and raised?
So I'm, as my dad says, American made with Polish parts. So I'm born and raised in Boston, of two immigrant parents from Poland. Long story short, they immigrated here in the 70s. I came along in 81 and I was being born in Boston, my parents had the American dream to have their picket fence and home, and they worked very hard and old school way of hustle to get a beautiful home in a little suburb outside of Boston called Dedham. I grew up in Dedham, a beautiful rural city outside of the bigger city, and I was able to grow up there, and class of 99, and so guys know how old I am. And so I had a great childhood, fun times, and then I ended up living in Attleboro a while, and so I have a history, and my original home is back in Boston.
Nice. Yeah, I've been to Boston one time. My wife's cousin my wife's cousin lives out there, and she got married, so we went out there for her wedding in, I think, Foxborough.
Foxborough, yeah.
Yeah.
I live next door.
What's that?
I live next door to Foxborough.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I've never been to the city, like down, like I've never, I need to go back, but I've heard, I have a lot of friends from there. So what was it like growing up with, I mean, did your parents speak English?
They do that. They're bilingual. So since their first language was Polish, it was difficult, but they had to learn it right when they got here. So like most immigrants who come here, everyone just wings it. You learn the basics, and then you just when you're in the environment, you learn as you move along. And so they speak it fluently now. Obviously they're going to speak Polish a lot better than English. So I became like the little interpreter as a little kid. And I was always their little walking advocate and interpreter for them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you're bilingual.
I'm very bilingual. So if anyone listening is a Polish American or from the homeland, give me a shout, send me a message, mówię po polsku. So let's connect.
What'd you just say there?
I said I speak Polish, and let's connect.
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm always so envious of people who are bilingual. Like I need to learn another language. My wife speaks fluent French.
Wow.
And yeah, she studied over there, but I know a few Spanish words, and that's about it.
Now, I did go on a foreign exchange. So going back to the history, during my high school years and my junior year, I did go to Poland for 1 year. So
did you really?
To be honest, it was a party year. So my whole intent was to go learn the language. But to be honest, I learned, but I partied and I had a good time, and I was with my host family, and I obviously came back fluent, but it was just a fun year, and I came back and I was still like post-party mode into my senior year. So, but the good thing is that year being abroad, the classes that I took in Polish, like for trigonometry and all these different courses, I got credit for. So by the time I came back for senior year, it was kind of like waiting to graduate, because I just got all the credits that I needed.
Wow. So what was it like though growing up as a kid and with I mean you were an immigrant, and not that I'm not saying that, because most of us are, right?
Yeah, most of us are.
Yeah, so in one way or another, but I didn't grow up with parents who were direct immigrants into the US. So what was that like for you growing up? And because I'm sure that they have thick accents, and they were probably much thicker back then. So
very thick and very ethnic.
Yeah, right. So what's that mean, ethnic? Like the food?
So when you're ethnic, what that means, and you're a first generationer. So when I went to school in Dedham, half of the kids were first generationers like me. So they were either first generation or Italians, Lebanese, Greek. I was really like one of the only Polacks. So, and that is not derogatory. That is just the term that you were put, kind of like a French person, and they're French. So yeah. I was one of the only Polish people there, and or if there were, they would be second or third generation. So if your parents are kids of parents that were from the homeland, you might already be second or third yourself, Ken, or maybe fourth or fifth. I mean, a lot of these kids that are here, they're already on the cusp of third or fourth generation, whereas I was coming into the second or third generation. So a lot of the kids, their grandparents came during Ellis Island times, or after World War II. I'm sorry. So World War II was a time when a lot of people immigrated here, and it started that history. But then in the 70s, Poland was still in a communist regime, so you could apply for asylum if you were immigrated here. But back then, immigration was different. If you came here, you applied for asylum, and you had specifics of finding a job, working, and paying towards an attorney, and actually paying into the system. So legalized immigration just became something that you wanted to do. Nobody wanted to be here illegally. So everyone worked, and that's how it was back then.
Right. So with the, like, did they come over and are they entrepreneurial, or did they come over and get jobs?
So my parents were more, let's come here, let's find a job and be set. So they were the generation that came in and wanted to find a job and just had that security. So me growing up, they wanted me to have the same thing, but it just doesn't work anymore, that one job. And I think we all know that having that 9 to 5 isn't enough anymore. I mean, how many entrepreneurs have a few things going on? Almost everybody. I don't even think I know any engineers who get paid, the 100 grand salaries that even have just that going on. Most of them are, have side gigs or side hustles or, network marketing, and that's just become the nature of today.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, but your parents weren't entrepreneurs.
No, they wanted me to just find a 9 to 5 and just be happy and be
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't work so well, did
No.
it?
I hate being told what to do.
I can relate to that, my Lord. So, and I think most entrepreneurs can, definitely can relate to that. So, so you went to high school, you went to elementary, all that
Yep.
and you were born here, right?
Yeah, so I was born in Boston.
Okay.
So as my dad says, American made with Polish parts.
Okay, I got you. So you went to elementary school and middle school and high school and
Yep.
Did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to UMass Boston.
Oh, did you really?
Political science.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you graduated?
I have some college, as someone says, so I don't have a degree, but I pretty much halfway through college, I was like, political science was just not going to be it. And after 9/11, when the economy started to have its tank, I ended up becoming the entrepreneur that I wanted to, and I opened up a fitness studio a couple of years after that. After I did some massage therapy for a while, so there was a little niche for a while. Until the next recession happened in 2008. But when I opened my studio, and it was actually in Attleboro, Massachusetts, gosh, I was making $10,000 a month. I'm like, I'm going to retire by 35.
Yeah.
And, I was never prepared for a recession. And when all of my doctors and attorneys and realtors stopped coming, that $10,000 a month nut went down to barely keeping the studio open. I had to evolve quickly. So as people see the economy changing, you constantly have to evolve and never stay content. You constantly have to learn for whatever could happen.
So what your studio for?
I had a fitness studio.
Okay. Did you say that?
I did say that.
I'm sorry. I had I put a comment up on the screen and it was huge and I was trying to adjust it because it was covering your face.
Uh-huh.
So I think I missed that, but,
okay.
So you went and you did this, and, Cassie Blanchett is on here, by the way. I interviewed her. She's in Boston. She has family in Attleboro. Did you see her interview the other day? She's an amazing singer. So, but she's.
I'm gonna reach out to her.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. You guys should connect. So, so the reset, like you're talking 08, 09?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, that was a tough period.
Tough times. I mean, everyone had some kind of struggle, and we have Grant Cardone as a mentor in common, and even he said at the time, like, everyone didn't prepare for what happened, and it was just like, it threw everyone off for a debacle, and it just kind of gave people a standstill. So me being in fitness, as much as I love seeing transformations, and that, and in people who are watching who are Ken Walls fans, some of you are network marketers, you're entrepreneurs, you're into fitness and health, and you guys know that, when it comes to people's bodies and their health, everybody wants to lose weight, everyone wants to stay in shape, but you have to make it a lifestyle. And when I was a trainer, I constantly pushed for, okay, you have these, 12 sessions with me, but by the end of it, you're going to be on your way to a transformation, but I want you to do things on your own eventually, because either you can keep paying me or learn something and do it on your own. And that way you can refer me business and, you save money. You're happy, and I make money by bringing in new people. So at the end of the day, all these trainers and people in network marketing have a great niche, and you just want to be sure that you are constantly educating people. And that's what I want to do with fitness. And even what I'm doing today with construction, I still do fitness as a hobby. So we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah. So, but you did you end up shutting it down?
I had to.
Did you?
I had a bad business partner too. I mean, long story short, when you have a studio with someone you're in a relationship with, and they had other endeavors and they weren't on the same page as you, the books weren't right, scheduling wasn't right, how we structured the business in the front end with these classes and then behind the scenes. It wasn't panning out, and it was because he wasn't on the same page as me.
Right.
And that studio was not going to survive. So 2009 was a great year to break it off, and then I always wanted to start fresh, so it was perfect timing to kind of wash my hands of it, dump that project and just come here to Florida and just redo everything, and it was perfect timing for me.
So you ended up in Florida. What part of Florida?
Well, I moved to Florida because my parents retired there. And then honestly, folks, when you're broke, the last thing you want to do is start over when you have no money, and you kind of flock back to the little nest. So I flocked near my nest. I didn't live with them because when you're into your 30s, living with your parents is not going to last for long. So I was able to, find my own place and live near them, but I was able to do something on my own and kind of restart everything. We're in Brevard County. So Brevard County on the map-wise, guys, is central Florida, but on the coast. So we're Cocoa Beach. So we're right near NASA.
Yeah.
We're an hour from Orlando. We're 3 hours from Miami.
Nice. Very nice. That's awesome, actually. I've driven there. Did you ever hear that story about me flying in to meet with John Hamlin?
I remember you told me.
Oh my gosh. I flew into the wrong city. I had to drive all the way up the East Coast. That happened
to a friend of mine. It's not just you, Ken. It happens to a lot of people, believe me.
I swear I really thought Daytona was right next to what's down by Miami?
Fort Lauderdale?
Yes.
No.
So I flew into Fort Lauderdale for my meeting. It was crazy. Anyway, so here you are, and you're what at that time you were probably 28, 29.
I was
30?
28. Yeah, very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm running math.
Good math.
Yeah. So and so you moved to Florida. You're 28. You had a business. It was jamming at one point, and then it ended up taking a big fall. Yeah. And you had to start over.
Exactly. And for anyone who was starting over, sometimes that stepping 2 steps back to big a bunch of leaps ahead is much better. You got to cut your losses sometimes.
Yep.
That's it.
I mean, that's life. Sometimes a lot of times, right?
Yeah.
Some people get stuck in it though. They get stuck there and they hang on. And I've done that. I hang on to things that aren't good for me, and like sometimes it's like, okay, you got to really step back and assess it and go, wait a minute, what the hell am I doing here? So exactly. And it sounds like you did that and shut it down. So good for you. Yeah. So at 28 years old, you end up in Florida, no job, no money, probably some bad credit.
Yes, I did have some bad credit.
You can't shut down a business. But
when I moved down here, I had to hustle hard. And the first 2 weeks that I moved down here, I found a job through networking. I used Facebook, and I randomly messaged 30 people. And out of the 30 people, one of them is one of my best friends. And ironically, she's from my homeland. Her name is Aggi Moita. And her husband is Adam King, and they're married now. So we're best friends, and we hang out, and it's a fun time. But through them, I met my other friends, and through them, I met other people I connected with. So it's just, you got to sometimes put yourself out there, and people will either reciprocate to your energy or they won't. And everyone's vibe is going to jive, and sometimes they won't. And you just got to connect with that vibe, you know?
Right. Yep. You're absolutely correct.
Just like you and me at the 10X World Con. Go.
Right. Right. So, you know, with but you know, you said something very important there, and I want to make sure that I point that out because, look, it's who you know and who you connect with is so important in life.
That's right.
And connecting with them the right way, right? So when you you know, went to Florida, you immediately started networking with people.
Immediately. I knew, even before I moved down, I used Facebook and groups to just connect because I needed to have someone to connect with when I moved down here. And, you know, I learned, even before I moved down here, shy equals broke. And you can't be shy. You just gotta put yourself out there. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And, you know, I learned about energy vampires and, you know, who's gonna, you know, be the most beneficial for not only me, but for them.
Right.
So I learned that pretty quickly.
And you started and I don't know what point you started it and how far you've gotten with it, but you've started a thing where you set up interviews basically or conversation, yes, mentoring kind of stuff with.
It's the Expert Connection. So the Expert Connection Construction Edition, there were already a few episodes in, and I went from, when I moved down here, from sales and marketing to medical technology to now construction or roofing sales. Yeah. And I went into roofing because I bought a condo with my husband, and the roof just went to crap 3 months later. And all these things that I should have known weren't disclosed to me. I learned the hard way. So if I can educate people in this industry to make better decisions, man, am I going to save you a lot of money.
Right. Yeah. So you've you know, you're the epitome of not giving up. Like, just keep going, right?
Keep going.
Yeah. So you got into you went to Florida. You're 28. You ended up connecting with some people. And what did you start doing at that point? Was that?
Oh, so when I first moved down here, I actually worked for a small newspaper, and there's a funny story to that now, Hometown News, and I was with Hometown News for about a year, and Hometown News was my first job, so it's kind of like I was very appreciative of the job, and I learned so much, and, you know, about sales, because the good thing was I had a little salary plus commission, and I was building a territory in 2010, which was a very difficult territory, which was actually not too far from NASA, and Brevard County was hit hard, very hard, because when NASA shut down, all those engineers that influenced the whole community left, and all those businesses took a big toll because of it. It was even more bad than usual.
Wow.
Actually, if you look back, 60 Minutes made a story about Brevard County and about the shutdown of the NASA Space Center, and you can see these, you know, engineers and how depressed they were. A lot of them committed suicide. And my territory, Merritt Island, had a lot of businesses shutting down. So here I'm trying to sell newspaper ads, and these people could barely keep their business open. But if you don't advertise or market, who's going to come in your door? Just keeping your door open isn't enough. And now we all know social media and its effect. But, you know, back then social media was just still kind of growing,
right,
in Facebook and, you know, and leveraging that. So people just had to find ways to get people through the door.
Right. I agree. So you did that for a while, and then you, I mean, but all along you've been in this fitness thing, and I know recently I saw that you are entering, or you've re-entered you're getting back into some what is it, bikini modeling, bodybuilding?
Yeah, no. So I made myself a deadline. Everyone knows if you have no deadline for something, this goal's not going to come about. So right. The past year, I kind of put some weight on. I was in a funk, and I had a fitness competition goal to work towards. So it's next Saturday. I've leaned down tremendously, but what I learned now from competition training, and by the way, I did do competitions back in when I had my studio, but what we learned then is way different now, and I'm working less but smarter, whereas back then I worked a lot more and harder and burnt out. Now I'm having a good time. I've leaned out so much. I actually look better than I did when I was 28. So,
Good for you. Wow.
It's an evolution of time, you know.
So you have 6-pack.
I have a 6-pack under there.
I have a
I'm very
12-pack.
conservative. I think you guys know, even my my Instagram is, you know, a little bit more conservative. I mean, I don't post too many, even my last post, I was in, you know, pants and, you know, my bra top, and I'm kind of more on the conservative side. So
yeah,
that's just how it's always been.
Yeah. You didn't hear me. I have a 12-pack. I need to work on that 6-pack.
Well, you know, when I diet down for show, I'm going to be at a weight that no one really can keep. So when you diet down or cut back on water, you're at a weight that's unrealistic. So when I come back after the show, I'll be putting back about 5 pounds of water. So my ideal weight, which I'll be, I'd like to maintain at, I'm not saying that weight is everything, but I know what my weight should be. So now that I know that number and then where I'm at right now, I'll be able to maintain it. And it's now something I can keep and just you know, keep flowing.
Wow, very cool. So so you've done, how many of those have you done, or is this in your
Well, in
first
the
one?
past, like, you know, I competed in 2007, 2008. I've trophied before, so when you've trophied in the past, you have a history in the industry. So now. When I'm competing in a master's class over 35. So I have, so now I'm 37. So, I'm master's 35, but they have a new novice division, 2 types of novice. So there's a true novice, which means you've never competed before, or a novice, which is you've competed a long time ago and you've placed, but you can still, and it's been so long, you can come back, you know?
Yeah.
So.
I got you.
Yeah.
So let me, like, over the years, you've done a lot of, obviously helping people out, teaching people fitness and good health and things like that. What are some of the things, that you see people doing that keeps them stuck?
Just not having a routine. Everyone gets busy, and we just, it's so easy to fall out of a routine. But you know what? If you fall out of the gym routine, evolve that routine to do something else. Like if you can't factor time to go to the gym, which I know it takes time to get there, set up, and then come back, go for a walk. Gosh, you could do things at home. Otherwise, if you fall out of some kind of routine and just let that weight or that depression, take over, it just leads to all the other health issues that it is much harder to recover from. Yeah. So if you can't go back to that gym routine, find something else that can temporarily hold you over in the meantime.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
much.
So
the same thing happened to me.
So as far as, I mean, so people don't need to go to the gym and all that.
There's I'll share with you the video. It's an 8-minute video about Ernestine Shepherd. She's the world's oldest bodybuilder. She's 83 now. The video was made when she was 77. But at the end of it, she says, you don't have to be a bodybuilder. You don't have to be a runner, but find something to keep you active, because age is truly just a number. I mean, how many 20 or 30-year-olds we know that have just given up and they look so much older, you know? But then you might see a 50 or 60-year-old that's lively and on their toes. I mean, look at Grant, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
Yep. I know. I'm not going to disclose my mother-in-law's age, but she's over 70, and she was on the trampoline with our 8-year-old yesterday.
That's awesome.
So, right? So it literally is just a number. Like I totally agree with you. So, and I also, you know, there's a story, I forget where I heard it, about these 2 70-year-old women that celebrated their birthday together. And one says, well, it's time for us to start getting our affairs in order. You know, the inevitable is coming. And the other one, her friend, says, yeah, you're right. That I'm going to go scale Mount Fuji, and ended up doing it, you know? So it's literally, cool. It really truly is just a number, and people need to get that mindset right, because I think you'd agree that that's where most people get stuck.
That's right.
It's all
Very, very
it's all in your thinking. You change your thinking, you can change your entire life. So if somebody came to you, and I'm sure that, I don't know, maybe your parents have bailed you out of trouble in your life, or maybe not. I don't know, but
they have, and let's just go back to that. So in our culture, the whole mentality is you never let family fall. Like everyone has everyone's back, no matter, and no one's perfect. I don't have a perfect family, but one thing that they have done that I can never go back on is they've had my back. I mean, my father was my bailout. I mean, if it wasn't for my father's help, I probably would have been in collections jail or something. I mean, after the studio collapsed. After the studio collapsed, I mean, I was in credit card debt up to the wazoo, and what was happening was I moved down here, and they were calling my parents looking for their money, and
Wow.
that's when they're like, "How much do you owe?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" And like, I'll figure it out, and they're like, "You can't even sell your soul and get that cash out right now." So how
Right.
much? So anyway, they were my bailout, but my intentions with them is, I'll be taking care of them in the future. So like as I'm getting older myself, I moved here so I can get a home here close to them, and as they get older, I'll be paying back. So
Right.
yeah, they definitely were a bailout for me.
Right. But I think, like I've never had that bailout thing. I've always had to just figure it out, right? And so
Yeah.
there's been times in my life where I couldn't figure it out for whatever reason. It was normally the excuses I was making in my own head. But, what about the person that comes to you and says, "Hey, my life's falling apart. I can't figure it out. My electric's getting shut off. My car was repoed.
Yeah.
My business is I just everything. What do you say to help that person in that moment? Remember, it's not about like, hey, you got till tomorrow to get the electric paid, right? So,
Sure.
like, what do you say to them to help get them over that hump?
You just gotta, you have to scale what you have right now, and you have to be in survival mode. Whatever you have to do, whatever it takes. If you have to, obviously you have to produce. So if you have to get a second job, if you have to even sell some things to get the electric paid for, so you have electric, or the water because you need a shower, you need these. You have to start with the most emergency fundamentals, and then move forward. So if you are living in a home, or if you live in an apartment and you need that electric and water, get that paid for as soon as possible. If you have to pawn something in the meantime, I had to do that while I was down here. So if I had to bail out again, I mean, I didn't go and ask my parents. I just had to, do my own thing, and doing that scaling helped me move forward. And again, switching jobs or something just, made me appreciate things more. And you just got to do these things and they're temporary. They're not forever. But once you get over that little crazy hump and just focus and work, it's all going to get better. Life has a funny way of working itself out.
It really, truly does. I don't, I said that the other day. I don't get too stressed anymore I used to, but I don't, it always works out.
It does, yeah.
And if you stay grateful and focused on that, then it gets even better. So tell me about what's going on with you now. What are you up to these days?
So yesterday I had a hurricane recovery summit with the company I work for, Hippo Roofing and Sing Law, and it was one of our first ones. But it was a good success for a small turnout. But the people that showed up had no idea how much information was available to them and what rights they had. So doing things like these events and the podcasts and, selling something that's of necessity for people is what I'm doing right now. I'm doing roofing sales. And even though it's typically not, as some people are telling me, a female job, it's actually being dominated very well by females. So, we do very well in that industry. We're very personable. But what's most important is that we're making a friend and we're helping someone out and solving a problem.
Wow, that's awesome. So, now how long have you been doing that?
Since January.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're already having summits?
Having summits, yes, we were inspired. My best friend Peller worked for Hippo before me, and she brought me in, and we went to a summit that was in Orlando, and we got inspired by this summit that they had, and we put the same type of thing here in Brevard, and we plan on doing it quarterly. So we'll do another one, I think in January, after the holidays and everything.
Wow, that's incredible. So what is it exactly that you do? I mean, it's a roofing company?
So yes, I work for Hippo Roofing. I'm one of their sales consultant, but I'm also one of their marketers. So we sell a permanent roofing solution. So everyone knows what roofers do, and a lot of consumers think we all sell the same type of material and do the same exact thing. But believe it or not, we don't. And if you don't know what you're buying, and you assume that you are buying something, then that assumption is a very costly mistake.
So
here in Florida, I didn't realize how catastrophic we were until I experienced hurricanes, and why roofing is so profitable and why they do so many of them. I mean, you can put a brand new roof on, and if a tornado with a hurricane gets whipped over your house, it will pull that roof right off. I mean,
wow.
It's just Mother Nature doing her thing, you know?
Right. Yeah, it's hard to probably install much outside of a concrete, and even then a good tornado can wipe it out. So what are some of because I know that you and Jesse, you guys are amazing entrepreneurs, and I know that you're always looking for ways to expand and grow and build up what you guys are doing. I mean, what are some of your future plans or goals? I mean, it's not just selling roofing forever, I would imagine.
Well, he's in real estate, so I've actually made him a better real estate agent. Things like what consumers should be asking their sellers when they buy their home, and knowing things about like the age and about water heaters and whatnot. So it just makes the homeowner more savvy, the real estate agent a better agent. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's certain industries that are going to become obsolete if you do shortcuts. And I've seen in the real estate industry why most people are doing for sale by owner, don't want agents anymore, because they're fed up with these agents just, putting listings and not really putting an effort anymore. Now, most agents, they put their effort, and we all know many agents who do very well. But then this industry flocks those, I want to be an agent and just make a ton of money and whatever. And it's those people that make real estate, that can make real estate a bad industry. So, and also like in roofing, it's these, two guys in a truck that, will come in and say, go with me. I'm less expensive. I'm just as great as the big company, but they're charging you a lot of money. But people don't realize that two guys in a truck have no insurance liability, and they're going to be gone by the time that roof is put up. And there's no warranty to back it up. And you'll be rectifying that roof the next year or two. So, wow. And it's, you got to do your due diligence today, folks. It's a crazy world we're living in. And so we're just trying to scale both industries, and we are using the podcast as a tool for both.
So you have a podcast. What's the name of the podcast?
The podcast is called, and it's on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify. It's called The Expert Connection Construction Edition.
Love it. I love it. So what are to somebody watching this that's struggling right now, what are some motivational tips you would give them to help them get unstuck, to stop the struggle?
Keep learning. You got to keep studying. You have to constantly do some kind of continuing education. If you don't grow, if you don't learn, you're not going to get out of that funk. And, at the end of the day, also, you really have to like what you're doing. If you're in that funk, evaluate if you like what you're doing, because if it's not the right vehicle, and I've been through a few vehicles, it's just not going to work out, and also when you're part of something and you're part of a team, you need to make sure that the team that you're with is on the same level. I mean, I've been through other companies where, I put my whole heart and soul into it, and I have an owner or a manager that's on the other scale. And not only we're not going to grow, it's I'm trying to have an ego to build. So at the end of the day, it's make sure you're on the right team.
That is unbelievably important, that you're on the right team with the right leader.
That's right.
Right.
Oh, Amin's on.
What's that?
I see
Amin. Amin, I love Amin.
I met him. He was sat right next to me at the 10X Growth Conference.
Yeah, Amin's a good buddy of mine. Love that dude.
He's a good one to get mentoring from too.
He what?
He's a good one to get mentoring from
too. He absolutely
too.
is. He's incredible. So what's next for you?
So today, what's next is just follow up. I want to make the rest of the year more profitable for me and close out a lot of business and finish up this competition. It's a national qualifier, so if I do qualify or place, as we call it, or trophy, I get to go to a national show next year. So we'll see where it goes. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, I'm not going to get hung up over it. So, but the good thing is I'll be in great shape for the holidays and maintain it. Much love, Amin, myself.
Yes, I love Amin. He's such a good guy. So you're and this is what'd you say? It's a fitness competition or a bikini competition?
Yes, no, it's a fitness competition. So it's a division of bikini, figure, and bodybuilding for women, and then bodybuilding for men. And if you Google female bodybuilding types, it'll come up with the types that they have, and it'll give you an idea of what we're doing. I'm doing bikini. You're proportionate. You have a symmetry, a beautiful symmetry, almost like a figure eight. And it's you're critiqued on your physique. Your top half proportionate with your bottom. It's just like I said, it's a hobby thing. The good thing is we celebrate as a family. Like all the other people that compete, we become like family members, and we party afterwards. And then you go back home Sunday night.
You party afterwards and put back on all that weight?
No, because by the time we go out Saturday night after the show, if you stuff yourself, you'll just get sick. So most of us have like a sip or two, and we'll have a bite of a burger, and then nobody wants to pack on 30 pounds, but you're going to pack on just water weight.
Yeah.
But you want to stay at a healthy weight, and I mean people compete as a hobby once in a while, or people like have a full-fledged career out of it, but they do fitness training, or they're competitors, or maybe they're fitness trainers, and they become sponsored athletes. So it all depends on what you want to do.
And I've heard that, and you've kind of touched on it, but I've heard that is it's just brutal dropping all of that water weight, like headaches.
You can do it the right way, and you can do it a dangerous way. So how I'm directed by my coach is different than what other people do. And I mean, I've heard of the diuretics and whatnot, but I'm doing the old school way of like starting from 2 gallons to 1.5 to 1 gallon to half gallon to quarter gallon to sips of the day of the show. So that's how you slowly dehydrate down to the show. But
you're making me thirsty
with these shows. If anyone gets sick or hurt, they do have paramedics on standby. So if anybody were to pass out, they're right there. And it's cool because you said to have the paramedics in the back, and they're just in case, and they have their IV bags and everything. And it may happen once in a blue moon, but it's there for precaution, and that's so important.
Wow, that's incredible. I can't even imagine what goes into that. Well, let me ask you, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience?
Yeah, so what I wanted to share was, how we connected, and why, connecting with you is so important, because, you've given me so much mentorship, and you've, given me, and even we haven't been in touch for a long time. We reconnected as if we were speaking, last week. So right. I just wanted to, touch upon really quickly, like, our business relationship, and where, we're eventually going to be going, with our group, because I know that I kept contemplating to you to have your own, seminar someday, and I know that it's going to be, it's going to happen, but I just want to let people have you kind of explain how we, connected and why it's important for people to connect with you.
Yeah, honestly, we met at the first 10X Growth Con in Miami,
Yep.
but were we already friends or no? I don't remember.
No, we just connected there
Oh, okay,
in the
okay.
VIP section.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So, and I don't remember the moment, but I remember we talked off and on throughout that entire couple
It
of
was
days.
me. I had a cup of coffee and you were standing. It was intermission session, and I approached you because I was just there to make a friend.
I got you. That's right. Okay. And I know we got a picture or two together, so that was cool. But so I think that over time it's funny. I'm friends with Zig Ziglar's daughter and son.
No kidding.
And yeah, and now I am now, and she called me yesterday morning on her way to the airport, and
Wow.
she's a speaker. She's heading out to do some speaking engagements and stuff, and we were talking about that, and I said, yeah, I've always kind of thought about doing some speaking stuff, and
Yeah.
She's like, oh, you're going to quit thinking about it very soon. I know that you're going to start speaking, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
And then, Amin, who sat next to me, and his story is amazing. So, when you join that synergy, I just think the law of attraction,
Yeah.
you guys will figure out a way to make it collaborate because, now with that collaboration, everyone has followers that will attend and see value in it.
Amin is a client of mine. Like we already.
Oh my gosh, no kidding.
We do work together. Yeah.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah. And he asked me he wanted to talk to me about doing a website for him, and I said, you can't afford me. He said, whatever, dude. Which he's a great guy. Him and I joke, and oh my gosh, love that guy. But anyway, so no, Amin's awesome. And I have connected with so many amazing people over the last, 5 years probably, that just, and you're one of them, that's just like, I could call you for anything. I know I could, and say, hey,
Yep.
I need some input, and you know that about me.
That's
and
right.
We've talked many times, and so that's what it's about. It's about connecting with people and trying to help those people. Really, really putting forth effort to help somebody else. That's what it's about for me.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, well, listen, thank you so much. I appreciate
Thanks
you
for
coming
having
on.
me, Ken. And thanks to everyone who came on and chimed in. And
Yeah.
I was just trying to, give Ken my full attention. And, I know that with the feed, people ask questions, but, it's Ken's show. So I definitely will message everyone and reply and connect with my my Massachusetts friend, definitely.
Yeah,
and also
Cassie.
I will connect back with Amin as well.
Yeah, awesome. Well, listen, Aggie, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on and spending the time. And thank you to everyone on Facebook who watched and shared this out. I always go back and thank the people who shared, because that means the world to me. So thank you to everyone, and we will see you all tomorrow. My wife's on here. She said, great interview.
Hey, Jill.
Hey, yeah.
Awesome.
So awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Thanks, Amin.
Thanks, and Jill and Amin, and have a great Wednesday, everyone.
Thanks, Aggie.
Take care, Ken.
All right. See you guys.
Bye-bye.